Hi there folks, Steven here and welcome into TK Power Sports. Today I'm here with the Yamaha Wolverine X2 Utility, and the Utility model gets a few extra features to really pump up its work ethic. Now for all you Americans watching, this is forbidden fruit because it only comes here to Canada and some other world markets, and I want to tell you all about it, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's start by going over the dimensions. So overall length here on the Wolverine X2 Utility is 115 inches. Width measures in at 62.6 inches, while height is 74.8 inches. Overall wheelbase comes in at 83.7 inches, and Yamaha says this unit has 11.5 inches of ground clearance. Let's take a walk around now on this Wolverine X2. So we do have a few accessories on ours today, like this little quarter windshield right there, and a worn 4,500 pound winch, which is really nicely integrated down here. I like these big tow hooks too here, and it gets some protection down underneath. I like that. I'm talking wheels and tires. That is a set of 27-inch GBC Dirt Commanders wrapped around 12-inch wheels, and behind it you're getting a set of KYB shock absorbers. In the front, you're just over 8 inches of travel. In the rear, you're over 9 inches of travel, and these are just preload adjustable shocks right there. Now, as we get around to the back, this is really what sets the Utility apart right here. It is this steel cargo bed. This is actually borrowed from the Yamaha Viking, and that's what customers were asking for. Customers who wanted to do more work with their Wolverine X2 than maybe your standard customer. They wanted the steel bed, and Yamaha delivered. And I'll show you, not only do you get the steel bed, but you get this big, thick rubber floor mat right here. Gives you great grip, also great protection. So I do like to see that. And yeah, underneath, nice steel. It is painted steel. It's a little bit slick. It's not like they put a bed liner material in here. You probably could spray that with a bed liner, which would be nice. But still, I think for longevity and strength, steel is always the way to go, and the solid steel walls there. Now for tie downs, you are getting one tie down here in each corner. You can't see the fronts, and that's because we have this accessory cargo box added on here. This thing is pretty nice. First of all, it is lockable. That is nice. You can see both sides flip up, but the space inside is actually a pass-through, so you can get from here to over there. You can store all kinds of stuff. There is a rubber seal up here on the inside of this lid, so it should do a good job of keeping the water and the dirt out as well. So nice to have that. It does eat up, quarter of your bed, so that's gonna be a trade-off. And then finally, of course, this is a fully dumping bed. You can dump it from either side. I like how steep that really tilts up too. And we are gonna put this thing to work today. We will be loading it up, so don't you worry. You're gonna see this bed in action. Here's the heart of the X2 Utility down here. That is an 847cc twin cylinder, and always nice to have the cargo box because once you lift it up, you do get really nice access down into your power plant. Now moving to the interior of this thing, it's pretty simple in here. There's not too much going on. Doors only have handles on the inside. That's to keep your outer door handle from getting muddy, so you don't got to worry about that. I'll go ahead and climb in here. I stand at 6'2". I fit fine, plenty of room right there for the helmet. The classic Yamaha issue is these plastic guards over here for your elbows. They do get in my way a little bit. I am kind of butt up against it, but outside of that, I'm fully comfortable in here, which I like. Now when it comes to controls, over here on the left side of the steering wheel, I have my 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and diff lock. So yes, you do have a locking front differential here. This is a machine where the rear differential is always locked. You have 3 different light settings right there. I'll turn this on so you can see my display up here. This machine just comes with the simple display, but it's enough to get all your information. Just beside it, this is my winch controller, which of course has been added on as an accessory. And then one of my favorite features here on the X2 Utilities right down here, it's a horn. And that might sound simple to you, but I'm a big believer that all side-by-sides should probably have horns. It's just one more safety device that I think could make a big difference. So I like to see it here on this Utility model. Now, when it comes to storage, there's a decent amount here. There's a little cubby right down here. Double cup holders for your drinks. Open up my center console. You can fit a couple water bottles and some paperwork in there. That's not bad. And then glove box, pretty deep. I like the little separation over here too. So yeah, that's pretty decent as well for storage. And then there is just a little bit of storage too behind my driver's seat and behind the passenger seat right there. One last thing I'll point out is this grab bar, and it does have adjustable points right there, so you can pull it out and adjust it to the passenger. So yeah, basic in here, and I would say it's utilitarian. It's everything you need and nothing you don't for going out and getting some work done. Let me show off a few more things. So if you do pop this hood off right here, you get a bunch of your maintenance items, your batteries right there, you got some fuses, there's your air box so you can change your filter, there's your coolant right there, and then pay attention here, this is the speed management key, so you can turn this thing into a speed limited mode like that, turn it to turtle mode, and then that key is removable so you can take it with you. This is for if this thing lives on a job site or a construction site and you want to limit the speed of all your employees, you set that, grab the key out of there and walk away with it, or heck, maybe you just have kids or something and you want to limit that speed. So I do like having that speed management system here as well. Now finally, the numbers I have to share are towing and payload. So that steel bed back there is good for 600 pounds of capacity, and then towing off the hitch receiver, you're talking about 2,000 pounds, and I want to put those to the test. And now everybody, we are loaded up. I've got my dump trailer on the back with a load full of firewood back there. The trailer by itself is about 700 pounds. That's a few hundred pounds of firewood at least. So we'll call it an even 1,000 pounds. It might even be a little bit more. And I'm not just gonna roll down the main trail. We're gonna go on to Uppercut. That's our newest off-road trail. It is absolutely underwater right now, extremely muddy, and that's how I want to test this thing. Not just how it works, but how it works in a real off-road situation. So let's just say I had to get some firewood out of the bush and bring it home. Let's go see how it handles it. So we're in low range. We're in four-wheel drive, no diff lock right now. The first thing I want to say is I do appreciate the size of this X2 Utility. I'm so used to these big, massive utility machines, and this thing just feels really small and nimble out here, especially just the width. And on a trail like this, that really matters. Power down in low range feels solid too. I'm barely really putting my foot into it, and it's just creeping us along here. And that's also a testament to the tires, because I haven't felt a single bit of slip out of these Dirt Commanders yet. Here's a little squeeze right here. No problem. All right, that's all the mud and water handled. Now we do have one last tricky section. It's this kind of side hill, and we're gonna do it here on freshly wet tires. So I'll leave it in four-wheel drive. Yeah, let's go, let's see what happens. That's a bit of hitch rub right there. But yeah, there we go, we're through. And besides the hitch hitting a little bit, because it hangs down, that was impressive. Low range, four-wheel drive, it crept through the water and the mud with the load on the back, and that's exactly what you want out of your X2 utility. There you go, folks, and now you've seen how this X2 utility works, and I was pretty impressed with that trailer on, a load of firewood. It went everywhere I wanted it to go. Four-wheel drive worked good. Power down in low range felt good. Yes, the engine was working, but I never felt like I was wanting for power. That was including going up hills and stuff. So yeah, on the work side of things, I definitely like the X2 utility, and then just having the steel bed back there, yeah, I do think it makes it, you know, a little bit more robust, a little stronger, but the X2 has always been sort of a rec utility machine. It's the kind of machine where you can work all week with it, and then on the weekend go out with your buddies and have some fun. So that's why I threw the helmet on, because I want to have some fun right now. So I've got it in high range now, of course, and let's go ahead and feel the power. It's good off the line. This thing absolutely jumps. I wouldn't complain about the power at all. In fact, you know, recently we were in an X2 1000, and now coming back into the 850, I would say the 850 is plenty for most people. The X2 1000 is like properly ridiculous, the amount of power you're getting out of that power plant in this chassis. But the 850 feels perfectly matched here, and for someone who is sort of a speed freak, I still think it's enough power that it's going to return a rewarding ride experience. At least that's been my take on it. Now, I'll definitely say, you know, the limiting factor with this unit is the suspension travel. You know, under 10 inches, it's not that hard to kind of find that limit when you're pushing it on some rougher trails out here. So that's where I would say, yeah, eventually you're going to slow down a little bit because of how much you're bouncing over stuff. And then you got a little shorty wheelbase like this, so certainly the front to back kind of bucking is readily apparent when the speeds pick up. But the flip side of the short wheelbase is nice, tight handling. Feels like it fits in everywhere. Oh, I also really like how playful the back end is, but also super controllable, super predictable, sliding around these corners. Yeah, it's quite fun. And then Yamaha with the power steering on this model, you cannot adjust it. I feel like Yamaha does a good job though. They usually actually skew a little bit to the heavier side. I feel like a lot of brands skew towards the lighter side, where Yamaha with the power steering, it skews towards giving you that more rewarded, connected feeling in your hands. And that's how I feel here in the X2 Utility as well. So yeah, predictable, tight, sharp, fun, it's all here, man. I could absolutely rip this thing on a fun Sunday and never once complain or never once really have it, you know, pronounce itself as a utility model. So I think the balance between work and fun is quite good. Okay folks, now it's time for the top speed test, but first I went up there and I turned the key over to the turtle. I want to see what the speed limiter does. So foot to the floor and let's find out what it's limited at in turtle mode. And there it is, everybody. 25 miles per hour. What I liked is that off the line you still had access to full power, so it still felt like it revved up and took off just fine, but then when it hits 25 miles per hour, that's where it's going to cap you. So nice to have that, but now let's go turn it back to rabbit mode and see what the real top speed is. Okay everybody, now for the real deal top speed run. I've got it out of limited mode, high range, two-wheel drive. Let's see what it can do. Well, there you have it, everybody. 55 miles per hour. I believe that's around 90 kilometers per hour. That was top speed, and that actually felt limited as well. When it hit that 55, it did feel like a limiter stepped in and kept it right there. So yeah, that's gonna be top speed unlocked. And there's one other thing I wanna mention right now. So I've just done, 2 or 3 rips up and down this road. I've just done all my filming with this thing. And the one thing I'm noticing after a few hours of constant use, it's getting warm in here. I'm feeling some heat coming out from this plastic shroud, and then what's most interesting is I'm feeling some heat coming out from the plastic shroud right in front of me and right down my feet. So I don't really remember having too much heat in other Wolverine X2s that I'm driven, but today I am definitely noticing the engine heat that's pouring into this cab, and there's actually quite a bit of it. And with that, folks, we're coming to the end of this video. Now, the last big number I have to drop on you is the price. Here in Canada, this X2 Utility is going to sell for about $24,000 Canadian. Now, honestly, with this model, I think it's a no-brainer. If you were going to get an X2, why wouldn't you get the Utility? Because the fun side isn't affected. It's just as fun as the standard X2, but the Utility, the work side, is upgraded. So why not get that nice steel bed back there? And for once, it is nice that the Canadian market got recognized, because Yamaha Canada, or Yamaha Canada, as we say here in Ontario, specifically recognized that we have a market for this thing that doesn't necessarily exist in the US. So nice to get something specific for Canada. And like I said, if you're looking at an X2, I would definitely lean X2 Utility 850. So yeah, that's it for this one. Now please drop in the comments. Let me know what you think of everything you've seen in this video. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member of TK Power Sports, and then come right back here to the channel and see what we're testing next. See ya!